You know the feeling. You're sipping your morning coffee, the TV is on in the background, and your favorite hosts are there, all smiles and sunshine. It's a comforting, predictable ritual. They laugh, they share witty banter, and for a moment, it feels like life inside that screen is nothing but perfect. But every once in a while, the carefully crafted facade cracks. The polished performance falls away, and for a breathtaking, heart-stopping second, we catch a glimpse of the real, raw humanity happening just behind the cameras. No scripts, no teleprompters, just pure, unfiltered emotion. That's exactly what happened on a seemingly ordinary episode of Live with Kelly&Mark. In a moment that left the studio audience holding their breath and viewers at home leaning in closer, Kelly Ripa had a visceral reaction to her husband Mark Consuelos' sudden health crisis. What was supposed to be another light, upbeat segment instantly transformed into an emotional roller coaster that nobody, least of all Kelly, saw coming. As Kelly visibly struggled to compose herself, her voice catching and eyes glistening with unshed tears, the audience realized with a collective jolt, this wasn't just television, this was real life. This was raw. This was a partner facing a fear so profound it couldn't be contained, even under the bright lights of a national broadcast. But what in the world had happened? What was the secret health battle that forced Mark, the picture of vitality, off the screen? And why did it cause Kelly, the consummate professional, to react so powerfully, so publicly? Stay with me, because this is just the beginning of the story. The shocking reveals and deeply emotional moments to come are ones you will not want to miss. A Hollywood love story tested by fire. To truly understand the crushing weight of Kelly's reaction, you have to understand the bedrock it was built upon. For more than 2 decades, Kelly and Mark haven't just been a Hollywood couple, they've been a real-life fairy tale. Their romance began on the set of All My Children, a classic boy-meets-girl story that blossomed into one of the industry's most solid, enduring marriages. We've watched them. We've rooted for them. Their chemistry is the kind you can't fake. The easy, teasing banter, the shared glances that speak volumes, the way they seem to be each other's biggest cheerleaders. They've built a life together, raising a family while navigating the surreal highs and lows of fame, seemingly always in perfect sync. But as we all know, deep in our own hearts, even the strongest love stories get tested. The true measure of a relationship isn't found in the easy sunny days, but in the sudden, unexpected storms. And an unforeseen health crisis was about to throw Kelly and Mark into a challenge that would test not only their private strength, but their ability to handle it as two of the most public faces on television. So what exactly was this sudden medical emergency? Was it a threat to everything they had spent a lifetime lovingly building? The truth, as it turned out, was a terrifying drama unfolding behind their closed doors, far from the comforting applause of the studio audience. The charming husband, the worried wife, cracks in the facade. Mark Consuelos has always been the embodiment of high energy and charismatic presence. He's the guy with the million-watt smile, the one who makes you feel like you're the only person in the room. But in the weeks leading up to the moment, eagle-eyed fans started to notice a change. Something was off. Suddenly, Mark was missing from the show. The chair next to Kelly felt emptier, quieter. At first, viewers wondered if it was just a planned vacation, a simple scheduling conflict, but a subtle, growing unease began to creep in. The explanation, when it began to surface, didn't come from a press release. It was written all over Kelly Ripa's face during what should have been a routine live segment. Her usual radiance was dimmed, replaced by a palpable agitation. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. It became clear that Mark's absence wasn't a choice. It was a dire medical emergency that had thrown the entire Consuelos family into a state of high alert. This was a fierce, private battle they were waging, and the strain of it was finally breaking through Kelly's professional composure. The audience was witnessing in real time the terrifying emotional toll her husband's health scare was taking on her. But what was this medical battle? What nightmare was unfolding off camera that no one knew about? The answers, when they finally came, were more shocking than anyone could have imagined. The moment the world saw her heart break. The moment Kelly Ripa finally had to pause, to take a shaky breath and collect herself live on national television, was the moment we all saw a woman standing on the edge. For us, the viewers, this was uncharted territory. This was Kelly, the always prepared, always polished professional, completely and utterly shaken. That vibrant, energetic personality we've come to know and love was replaced by a raw, unfiltered expression of pure, unadulterated fear. In a world that demands celebrity perfection, Kelly's vulnerability was both startling and incredibly, powerfully relatable. It was a piercing reminder that behind the glamour and the success, these are real people with real hearts, and they can be shaken to their very core, just like the rest of us. But this moment was tragically beautiful for another reason. Kelly wasn't just grieving the potential loss of her co-host. She was grappling with the terrifying fragility of the life she'd built with her soulmate. Their carefree, laughter-filled romance was being put to the ultimate test. And in the middle of all that pain and suffocating uncertainty, something happened. An unexpected turn that would change the entire narrative. Mark's confession, a love letter from the hospital. Just as the rumors were reaching a fever peak, Mark Consuelos himself broke the silence. He didn't hide. He didn't wait for the tabloids to spin their stories. Instead, he took to social media and gave his followers a gift of breathtaking candor, showing the signature strength that defines him, but with a new, profound depth. This was more than an update. It was a confession, a story of survival, and a love letter, all rolled into one. The post was anchored by a photo that was a stark contrast to his usual feed. No red carpet, no sunny beach vacation. It was simply his hand tightly gripping Kelly's. The background, blurred but unmistakable, was the sterile, chilling white of a hospital room. His caption began, "I've always believed in being transparent, but I've never known vulnerability like this." He went on to describe a terrifying neurological incident that came out of nowhere, a frightening episode of lightheadedness and blurred vision right after a show that he initially tried to brush off as simple exhaustion. Further tests uncovered a latent condition, one that, if left untreated, could have resulted in catastrophic, irreversible damage. He praised the doctors who acted swiftly to save his life, but his most powerful, soul-bearing words were reserved for his wife. He wrote, "Seeing the person who was your entire world, the anchor of your family, staring at you with fear in your eyes, that's a kind of pain I wouldn't wish on anyone." And then this gut-wrenching tribute, "Kelly was my rock. She stayed by my side the entire time. She is the reason I'm here, and I owe her my recovery." The post exploded online. Within an hour, it had millions of views and a flood of comments supporting the couple. And for everyone watching, all the pieces of the heartbreaking puzzle finally clicked into place. Kelly's on-air breakdown suddenly made terrifying, perfect sense. This wasn't a fleeting moment of sadness. This was the pure, unfiltered terror of a woman who had come terrifyingly close to losing her lifelong partner. Her trembling lip, her shaking voice, as she looked at his empty chair, all those unsettling moments finally became crystal clear. She wasn't just missing her co-host. She was grappling with the bone-deep fear of losing her husband, all while the cameras were rolling. A new reality, recovery, resilience, and a love that endures. The announcement sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. The couple's public persona of playful banter was temporarily shattered, replaced by something far more serious and far more human. But as the initial shock subsided, new questions emerged. What was the full nature of this mysterious ailment? And most importantly, was Mark truly out of the woods? The events of the following weeks painted a picture of their new, challenging reality. Mark, as he later shared, faced a difficult recovery. It was more than just taking medicine, it was about undergoing intense physical therapy and building a completely new daily regimen to manage the effects of his neurological scare. For a man known for his boundless energy, this was a new, quieter, and profoundly humbling challenge. And Kelly, she was his anchor through it all. She seamlessly transitioned from vibrant co-host to devoted caretaker, managing the demands of the morning show and then spending her afternoons and evenings by his side, helping him rebuild his strength one small step at a time. This journey of fear, resilience, and unwavering support all led back to that heartbreaking, now viral moment. Kelly, back on air, finally opened up about the entire ordeal. In a confession that had viewers reaching for tissues, the usually unflappable host let her guard down completely, her voice thick with emotion as she revealed the depths of the anxiety and uncertainty they had faced. She spoke about her immense gratitude for his recovery and the overwhelming love they'd received